Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktidancha Kripa Murti Narayanam Seva Kunja Vrajaya Ramye Gavardhana Girau Sada Radha Kunde Rasanande Tattva Seva Hridayam Guru Naranatyam Tam Vande Vinoda Prashtakam Yatpada Smriti Matrena Damodara Prasidate Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvaya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gaurattushe namaha He Krishna karuna sindha dinabandha jagatpate Gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshay Kshiptasya Kamadita Ranga Madhya Kripa Maitam Saranam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radha Madhavinda Netram Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Varadram Tato Mamanyasti Gatir Nakapi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare First of all, my sister Nandar Pranam, thousand Pranam, Lord Sri Krishna Parvarata, Kripal Parvi, Mr. Parts of the Shishmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Sai Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Second life of my sister Nandar Pranam, thousand Lord Sri Krishna Shri Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga. Of my sister Nandar Pranam to all some Guru Vaishnava. Continuing reading Shri Navadip Dham Bhaktya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Chapter 2, Mangalacharana. Jaya Jaya Navadvipa Chandra Sachi Sutta Jaya Jaya Nityananda Raya Avadhuta. All glories to Shri Satchinanda, the moon of Shri Navadvipa. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadhuta. Jaya Jaya Navadvipa Sarvadamasa Sadam Siddhamira Tattvarne Sadhya Achaka. All glories to Shri Navadvipa, the essence of all holy abodes. Who would possibly be able to describe the real nature of this dham? Navadvipa dham Gaura Mandala Vitare Jannavi Sevita Hoye Sada Shobha Kare. Shri Navadvipa dham is situated within Gaur Mandal and is served by Shri Jannavi Devi Ganga to further enhance it. Circumference of Sri Gauramandal and Sri Navadip Dham. Sri Gauramandala Eka Vinshati Yojana Madhya Bhage Ganga Devi Rahe Anukshana. The circumference of Sri Gauramandal is 21 yojanas, 168 miles. And Sri Ganga Devi is in its center, always flowing throughout. In other words, the circumference means if you walk around the borders of that dham, it will be a total of 168 miles. Shatadala Padmamoy Mandala Akar Madhya Bhage Navadvipa Ati Shobhata. Shri Gauramandal is like a lotus flower with 100 petals, with the supremely beautiful Shri Navadvip situated at its center. So that Gauramandal is like shape of a lotus flower. Navadvip is in the center of that Gauramandal. Panchakrosha Hoitar Kesara Adhar Parimala Purna Pushpa Yojana Chatvar. The most fragrant flower, Shri Navadvip, has 8 petals and measures 4 yojanas, 22 miles or 16 kosas. In the middle of this flower is a stamen-like base which is Antadeep. The circumference of Antadeep is 10 miles, 5 kosas. Vaira Paparita Satadalahoy Ekadika Yojana Vimsati Vistarai. The outer portion of this lotus flower is the entire Gauramanda with its 100 petals. It has a circumference of 21 yojanas, 168 miles or 84 kosas. The same way like Antadeep is 5 kosas, 10 miles, Vrindavan is also 5 kosas, 10 miles. And the whole Navadip Dham, no, Vrindavan is, Navadip is 16 kosas, that means Vrindavan is also 16 kosas. Antadeep, that is 5. One yojana equals to approximately about 8 miles. There actually for yojana there's a different measurement given. It's not actually 100% fixed. But I remember reading in Bhagavatam it's about 8 miles. But according to the measurements here, it could be a little bit different. But anyhow, give us maybe it's a printing mistake because 16 kosas, if 5 kosas is 10 miles and 16 kosas should be 32 miles. But here it's written 22 miles. I think maybe it's a printing mistake. Yeah, then it would be 8. One yojana would be 8 miles. Here, continuing saying, Mandala Paridhi Hoy Say Parima Yojana Saptaka Vyasastra Vidham Vyasadda Pramana Sadda Tritiya Yojan Madhya Bindu Hoy Tadar Hoy Veganam Madhya Bindu Navadvipa Dhama Madhyastar Yoga Pit Hoy Saha Chinmaya Vimal. According to scripture, the diameter of Shri Gauramandal is 7 yojanas, 56 miles, or 28 kosas. Half of this diameter is 3.5 yojanas, 28 miles, or 14 kosas. Right in the center of this flower is Shri Navadip Dham, where Mahaprabhu's transcendental and pure birthplace Yogapit is splendidly situated. Diameter means when you go from one end of the dham to the next. The line that goes between, that is the diameter. That is 28 kosas of 6 miles. And in the middle of the Gauramandal is Navadvip. True nature of Shri Navadip Dham. Chintamani Rupa Hoy Gauramandal Chidanandamoy Dham Chinmay Sakal. This holy abode of Gauramandal is like a Chintamani, or a desire-fulfilling gem. It is constituted of knowledge and bliss, and all that is within it is transcendental. Jala Bhumi Vriksha Adi Sakali Chinmay Sada Vidyaman Tata Krishna Shakti Tray. Everything in Gauramandal, including the water, land and trees, is transcendental. The 3 spiritual potencies of Shri Krishna, Sandini, Samvit and Ladini, are always present here. The transcendental Dham is a transformation of Sandini Shakti. Swarup Shakti Rajay Sandini Prabhav Tar Parinatiye Dhamira Svabhav. The constitutional nature of the transcendental Dham is a transformation of the Sandini potency. Sandini is a division of Swarup Shakti, the Lord's internal energy. The ignorant conditioned soul's vision of the Dham is Prabhu Leela Prita Rupa Dhama Nitya Hoy Achintya Shakti Rakarya Prapanchika Nai Tabe Je Dhame Deke Prapanchara Sama Baddha Jive Tahe Hoy Avidya Vibhrama. This dham is eternal because it is the place of Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastimes. None of the functions of the Supreme Lord's inconceivable potency, Achintya Shakti, are material. Nevertheless, conditioned souls misled by ignorance perceive the dham from an external perspective as merely the material world. Mega channa chakshu deke surya acharita divakar nahi kabu hoy mega vrta Sai rupa gaura mandala chidakar prapanchika jana deke jarela vikar. One whose vision is covered by a cloud may think that the cloud is covering the sun, but the sun cannot be covered by a cloud. Similarly, although this Gaura Mandal is transcendental, one with material intelligence sees the dham as material. Darshan of this transcendental abode by Shri Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. Nityananda kripa jar prati kabu hoy, sedeke ananda dham sarvatra chinmoy. Whoever gets the mercy of Shri Nityananda Prabhu will perceive the spiritual nature of the blissful dham. Ganga Yamunadi Tata Sada Vidyaman Saptapuri Prayagadi Archestane Stan. Such a person, it is revealed that Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari and other holy rivers perpetually flow together here, and that Prayag and other 7 holy cities are present at various important places. Sakshat Vaikunta Tattva E Gaura Mandal Bhagyavan Jeev Taha Deke Niramal. The fortunate living entity beholds this Gaura Mandal as the pure and manifest realm of Vaikuntha. In other words, Gaura Mandal is transcendental. It is completely chinmoy. It is direct manifestation of the spiritual world itself, free from the mode of material nature. It is beyond all mundane qualities and influence. But the jiva, he cannot perceive the true transcendental swarup of the dham unless he receives Nityananda Prabhu's mercy or Shri Guru's mercy. Why cannot everyone behold the transcendental dham? Swarup Shaktira Chaya Maya Maya Boli Jare Prabhu Ragyay Nija Prabhava Vistare. The shadow of the Swarup Shakti is called Maya Shakti, or the illusory energy, and on the order of the Lord she spreads her power of illusion. Bahil Mukti Vachakshu Kore Avaran Chiddham Prabhav Sabena Paya Darshan. This illusory energy covers the eyes of the living entities who have turned away from the Lord. For this reason, not everyone can perceive the influence of this transcendental abode. In other words, by Maya's influence, one cannot perceive the true nature of the dham. The true nature of the inhabitants of Shri Gaura Mandal. E Gaura Mandala Jar Vas Nirantar Boro Bhagyavan Se Samsara Vitar. Those who eternally reside in Gaura Mandal are the most fortunate in this material world. Devagane Swarge Thaki Deke Se Jane Chaturbhurshyam Kanti Apurva Gatane. When the demigods in Swarga see people living in Gaura Mandal, they perceive them as all having 4 arms, darkish complexions, and an astonishingly beautiful body, with good stature and strength. Like the Vishnu Rutas, like the Vishnu Parikas. They all beautiful Shyam complexion, 4 arms. The demigods, when they perceive the residents in Shri Gaura Mandal, they see everyone is liberated. Everyone is our eternal associates of the Lord. The true nature of the inhabitants of Shri Navadvip Dham. Shola Krosha Navadvipa Dhama Vasi Jata Gaur Kanti Sadanam Sankirtane Rata. All the inhabitants of this 32-mile, 16 cautious area of Shri Navadvip Dham have a golden Gaura complexion, and they are always absorbed in Nam Sankirtan. But before he's talking about Gaura Mandal, now it's only a specific those in Navadvip. Navadvip, they all have golden complexion. And always absorbed in Nam Sankirtan. Shri Brahma's glorification of the residents of Navadvip. Brahma Adi Deva Gane Antariksha Hoite Navadvip Dipavasi Gane Puja Nana Mate. Even Brahma and other demigods from the celestial realm worship the inhabitants of Navadip in various ways. Brahma Bole Kapu Mora Heno Bhagya Have Navadvipe Trina Kale Vara Pabo Jabe Shri Gaur Charana Seva Kore Jata Jam Tasavara Padarenu Labhikotakam. Lord Brahma prays, when will I be fortunate enough to take birth, even as a blade of grass in Navadip? If someone asks why I should desire such a birth, even though I am Brahma, I will answer, oh brother, in this way I will obtain the foot dust of all the devotees engaged in the service of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, divine feet. This would be impossible otherwise. Like Uddhav prayed to become a grass, Ya Dusaja Sajana Arya Pantam Chitra Bejo Mukunda Padinim Uddhav prayed, after seeing the glory of the Blessed Devis, he prayed, oh, I want to become a blade of grass, so I may receive that Father Renu, that foot dust of the Blessed Devis. Similarly, Brahma is praying here, he wants to become a blade of grass in Navadvip, so he may receive the foot dust of the Navadvipasi. Hai More Gaura Chanda Panchana Kariya Brahmandera Adipati Rakila Kariya. Alas, alas, Shri Gaur Chandra tricked me and made me the master of the universe. Kabe Mora Karma Granthi Hoibe Cheran Abhiman Tyaji Mora Shuddha Abhiman. When will the binding knots of my fruitive activities be cut open? When will my mind become pure that give up false pride? And he sung Gauranga Muridam. He is praying in the same mood. Reflecting that same mood. Brahma is praying here. When will I give up my enjoying tendency, and when will I become pure, so I may really receive true darshan of the Brahman? Adhikar buddhi mor kabe hapekshai shuddha das hoye pavo goda parashrai. When will my self-conception that I am the creator of this universe vanish? When will I become a pure servant of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and attain the shelter of his lotus feet? The greatly glorious in Navadip Dham. Devagan, Rishigan, Rudragan, Jata, Stane Stane Navadvipe, Vaise, Abhirata. Demigods, sages, Rudras, and so forth reside in different places of Shri Navadip. There are how many Rudras? 11 different Rudras explained in the Bhagavatam. Each Rudra is responsible for a different destructive force in the universe. One will be the predominant deity of hurricanes, one will be of volcanoes, one will be of cyclones, one will be of whirlpool, one will be of forest fire, like this. All these different destructive forces that presided, these all functioned by Rudra himself. Chirakal tapakori jivana katai tabo nityananda kripa se sabena pai. Even though they all have long since spent their lives engaged in austerities, they still could not receive the mercy of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. It is impossible to get Shri Gaur Nityananda's mercy as long as the false ego remains. Deva buddhi jato dina nahi jai dure jato din dainya bhav mane nahi spure. Tata dina Shri Gaura Nitai kripadan brahma shiv nahi pai koriya yatan. Unless demigods such as Brahma and Shiva abandon the mindset that I am a demigod, and humility awakens in their heart, they are unable to receive the treasure of Shri Gaur Nityananda's mercy, despite great endeavor, what to speak of others. Similarly, if we maintain also false abhiman, false conception, I am this, I am that, I am something, I am a devotee, I am humble, I am this, I am that, I am whatever our conception may be, then we will also not get Gaur Nityananda's mercy. One will have to remove all one's false conception and have the abhiman of what? More humble than a blade of grass. I am what? I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Abhiman will have to come. Radhika Dasi Yadi Hoy Abhiman Sikra Nilai Tava Gokulakan. Come, have this Abhiman, I am Radhika's maidservant. Then you will attain mercy of the Lord. Krishna's mercy. The author's entreaty that the reader faithfully hear narrations of these pastimes further on. E Sabha Kanta Age Hoive Prakash Yatna Kori Shuno Bhai Koriya Vishwas. All of these topics will be narrated further on in this book. Oh brothers, listen to them carefully and faithfully. Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is requesting the listeners to hear faithfully about the topics he is about to speak. The destination of a person using mundane logic to understand transcendental topics. E sabha vishaye bhai tarka parihara tarka se apartati amangala kara. Oh brothers, avoid using mundane logic in regard to these topics, because logic is useless and inauspicious. In other words, if one uses one mundane logic, oh, how can the Dham be like this? How can it be so potent? Well, how is it like that? It should be like that. So many questions and doubts. Throw your logic away. All of your understanding has come from what? From your upbringing. The way you think, the way you act, is everything based on your karma. You are born in a certain country with a certain body, certain parents, certain surroundings. All of that has influenced you to be who you are today. Therefore you think in a certain way, you are educated in a certain way. All these influences are defined of who you are today. Therefore the way you analyze things, the way you understand things, this is all, where has it come from? It has come from this world. Throw this away. There's no use for understanding spiritual subjects. If you want to understand spiritual subjects, then approach the Vaishnavas. And the only currency to understand these subjects is what? Shraddha, faith. Therefore, we created them Raja Varubirinam Cha Vishnu Shraddhayan with an Anushinayat Ata Varnayat. Shraddha must be there. Here. If you hear with faith, then this is the currency, the medium by which you can understand these spiritual topics. Otherwise, not. Everything else is inauspicious and useless. Shri Chaitanya Leela Hoy Gavira Sagar Mocha Kola Rupa Tarka Tatai Panpar. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like a deep ocean. On the contrary, mundane logic is as troublesome as the many layers of skin that cover banana flowers. If you see a banana flower, then to get to the banana flower, you have to remove the skin. It's a dark purple, oval shape. Like an oval, sharp oval like this. And you, like lotus petal kind of, you remove the petals one by one. Removing the different layers, and in the middle you'll find the banana flower. So similarly, this transcendental truth is like this banana flower. But all logic and all your mundane understanding are like the leaves that cover it. How much trouble, how many layers you have to remove? So many layers of programming, so many layers of ignorance covering this soul. If you have to understand these transcendental subjects, then you have to give up your false ego, your mundane intelligence, all these things. Take shelter of the Vaishnava. Karka kori samsar tarita jechai vifalathar cheshta kichu nahi pai. The efforts of one using mundane logic to attain deliverance from the material world are unsuccessful. Nothing is gained in such endeavor. You take shelter of logic and knowledge by trying to cross the ocean and hanging on to a dog's tail. What will happen? You throw the dog in the ocean and you jump in and hang on to its tail. Will the dog be able to swim across while you're hanging on? Never, you'll drown straight away. Take shelter of logic and knowledge, Gyan, cut on any of these paths, and you will sink deeper into this ocean of material existence. The destination of one who accepts the shelter of the saints and the holy scriptures. Tarke jalanjali diya sadhu sasta dhare atire chaitanya lakh se jana pare. One who abandons mundane logic and takes shelter of only sadhus and sastras quickly attains the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shruti smriti tantra shastra avirata gai nadiya mahatma nityanandara agyar. Following the order of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, the Shrutis, Smritis, Tantras and all other scriptures always praise the majesty of Shri Navadvipa. Se Saba Shastra Para Sadhu Vakyamam Tabeto Hoibe Tava Navadvi Pagyam. Study all these scriptures and have faith in the word of the sadhus. Then you understand the glories of Shri Navadvip. Only Navadvip Dham is powerful in Kali Yuga. Kali Kale Tirtha Sabha Atyanta Durbal Navadvipa Tirtha Matra Parama Prabal. All sacred places are extremely weak in Kali Yuga. Shri Navadvip Dham alone is supremely powerful. All different holy places you can find here and there throughout India. They are very weak. They cannot help you. But Navadvip Dham reigns supremely powerful, supremely merciful. Prabhuda Ichai Se Tirtha Bahudina Aprakata Mahima Achila Spurtihina. By the desire of the Lord, this holy abode and its glories remain unmanifest for an extremely long time. The most merciful and compassionate Supreme Lord is concerned for the well-being of the jivas. Kalira Prabhav Jabe Atyanta Varila Anya Tirtha Sabhavata Nisteja Hoila Jivara Mangala Lagi Purusha Pradhan Mane Mane Chinta Kori Korila Vidhan. When the influence of Kali Yuga greatly increased, and all the holy places consequently lost their power, the Supreme Lord, out of his concern for the well-being of the living beings, searched for a remedy to help them. Pira Bhuji Vaidyaraj Oshadha Khavajai Katin Oshadhya Katina Pirai Ebe Kali Gora Hoila Rog Hoila Bhari Katin Oshad Bina Nivarite Nari. The Supreme Lord thought, an expert doctor gives medicine to his patient after understanding his patient's suffering. If the patient is very sick, the doctor gives him especially potent medicine. Similarly, in the fearsome Kali Yuga, the people have developed a severe disease that cannot be cured without an extremely potent medicine. To that degree, the disease, that degree the potency should be there in medicine. Atishai Gopane Rakinu Jai Dham, Atishai Gopane Rakinu Jai Nam, Atishai Gopane Rakinu Jai Ru, Prakashna Koilaji Taribe Kiru. How will these living beings attain deliverance if I will not, even now, manifest the name, the divine form of my holy abode, which I so far have kept concealed? The eternal relationship between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. Jiva to Amara Das Amitar Prabhu Amina Tarile Sena Taribe Kabhu. All living entities are my servants and I am their master. If I do not liberate them, then who will? Without my mercy, they can never be delivered. All jivas, all living beings are what? Parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Mama Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Each and every single person, me, you, everyone, we are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. We are eternally connected to Him. Therefore, we have an eternal duty towards Him. And that connection can never be broken. The jiva, they try to run away from the Lord, wandering from one species of life here and there in the universe, moving around, trying to be independent. Ultimately, they cannot escape the Lord and His influence. They are always under the influence of the Lord's Maya Shakti. And gradually, by the endeavors of the Lord, they will come under His Sarup Shakti. The jiva's eternal dharma is loving service to the Supreme Lord. And that is seen, that eternal dharma is seen throughout the jiva. The jiva is always serving in one capacity or another. He's always doing some kind of service. Even he may just be selfish, but he's serving his body, his senses, his mind. He's always doing something. Without activity, the jiva cannot exist. Therefore, the jiva, he is the eternal servant of Shri Krishna. The Supreme Lord's resolve always comes true. Prabhuda pratigya hoy sarvakal, tari ho sakyala jiva guchabo janjal. The Supreme Lord always promises that He will liberate all jivas and dispel all of their tribulations. Brahmara durlabadhan vilavo sansare patra patra nava chibo e avatare I will bestow upon every person in this material world a treasure of prem that is rare for even Brahma to obtain. In this incarnation, I will not consider who is a fit or an unfit recipient of this treasure. Brahmara durlabha prem kore baredan. Said that I'll give that. Atanda durlabha prem kore baredan shikaya sadanagati pakatiratam. I'll give that prem which is extremely rare for even Brahma to attain, freely to all. Whether they are qualified or not, Mahaprabhu determined, I will distribute it. Therefore, Sriman Mahaprabhu's promise to destroy Kali's influence. Dekibo ki rupe Kali jivara kore nash. Nabadri dham ami koriba prakash. Say dhame kalira bangiba vishadanta. Kirtana koriya jive kori atmasata. I will see how Kali destroys the living beings when I manifest my Navadip dham. In that sacred abode, I will break the poisonous teeth of Kali. Performing kirtan, I will make the living entities of my own. If Kali is described to be like a poisonous snake, then the way you save yourself from its poison, from its venom, from its poisonous bite, is to remove the teeth of the snake. It doesn't matter how much poison the snake may have. If you remove the teeth, then he is harmless. Fortunately, the snake charmers are always moving around with their snakes. They take the teeth out and they make the snakes blind also. Then they cannot inject poison into you. They're harmless. And everyone comes and touches them, puts around the neck. Like this. Sriman Mahaprabhu's prophecy. Jata dura mama naam hoibe kirtan, tato dur hoibe ta kalira daman. In other words, how does Kali Yuga is like a venomous snake? How does the influence of Kali is checked? What is compared to removing the teeth of Kali? That is kirtan. If you do kirtan, that place where there is kirtan, Kali cannot come there. Therefore, wherever kirtan is going on, that place is not Kali Yuga, that is Satya Yuga. Wherever Thakurji Arati, Kirtan, Mahaprasad, Thakurji Seva, then you are not living in Kali Yuga, you are living in Satya Yuga, golden age. Therefore, Chaitanya Kali Danya, Nitaya Chaitanya. This Kali Yuga is Danya Kali, this golden age. Even the demigods, they will take birth during this Danya Kali. More fortunate than Satya Yuga itself. Therefore, those who are absorbing themselves in this Nam Sankirtan, then they are free from the terrible influence of Kali. But those who are not absorbing themselves in this Nam Sankirtan, then they are dragged, they are pulled into the terrible influence of Kali. So many things. Don't absorb your mind in that. Absorb your mind in what? Krishna, Krishna. According to the magnitude of the chanting of my name, the influence of Kali Yuga will be subdued. Otherwise, Kali Yuga will flee far away from the places where the holy name is chanted. Hey, Boli Gaura Hari Kalira Sanjay Prakashila Navadvipa Swakiya Maya. Thinking last Shri Gaura Hari manifested Navadvip Dham at the beginning of Kali Yuga by his internal potency, Yoga Maya. Chaya Samvariya Nitya Sarupa Vilas Gaur Chandra Gaura Bhume Korilo Prakash. Shri Gaur Chandra manifested his eternal pastime in Gaura Bhumi after removing his illusory energy, Mahamaya, who is the shadow of his Sarup Shakti, Yoga Maya. The most unfortunate person. Emona Dayala Prabhu Jai Janna Bhaja Emona Chintyadam Jai Jan Tyaje Ekali Kaletar Samabhagyahi Nateki Jagatya Sochaniya Din. In Kali Yuga, there is no one more unfortunate and wretched than that person who does not worship such a supremely merciful Lord and who rejects such an inconceivable holy abode. The desire of the author. Ateva chari bha anya vancharati navadvipa dhame matra hao ekamati. Therefore, O brothers, give up all other desires and fix your mind only on Shri Navadvip Dham. And he is pleased to reside in Shri Navadvip Dham. The author's prayer to attain his desired service. Jannavanitai padachaya jar ash se bhakti vinod kore tattva prakash. Desiring to attain the cooling shade of Shri Nityananda Prabhu and Shri Jannava Devi's lotus feet, Bhakti Vinod is revealing his truth. Thus ends chapter 2. Then we'll start chapter 3. In chapter 3, then we'll describe different rivers that are flowing through Navadip Dham, and then Untitled, and something about Untitled and the rules for performing parikrama. That will all be described in chapter 3. That we'll hear tomorrow. Gaur Brahmananda Hare Hare Gaur Jai Shri Gurupad Padma Ki Jai Guru Parampara Ki Jai Sachinanda Gaur Hare Ki Jai Saparsada Gaur Hare Ki Jai Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Navadip Dham Mahatma Ki Jai Jai Shri Navadip Dham Parikrama Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Samavita Bhakti Vinda Ki Jai Janitai Gaur Pramananda